Hi everyone, Dr. Colleen here. Today we are going to do foam rolling 101. So I have the 36-inch length foam roller. I like this one because I can get everything done on this one. It is smooth. I don't have any of the accessories, the knobs on here. I know many people like those. I do not. So I like to stick with the smooth foam roller. And foam roller is not for everyone. It is for those that can get down to the floor easily and get off the floor. So if that's not possible, then we have other things that you can do. It does require some upper body strength because we have to kind of get into plank position a couple times. So working up to doing the foam rolling, you could start with planks and side planks and then add it in, because we don't want to do something that's supposed to be beneficial to us and end up injuring ourselves doing that. So foam rolling, it alleviates soreness, it increases blood flow to the area, it overall will help decrease injury, reduces inflammation into the area, and overall just promotes relaxation for us as we move through the body, especially once you come up with a flow and routine. But don't let the awkward stage in the beginning stop you from trying the foam rolling. So I'm going to try to come up with a flow that's a good flow, but again, you know your body and what your body needs. So usually I'm getting down on the floor. I am on a mat. You can just be on carpet. And I gauge out, based on my leg length, where I think I'll be able to do a full roll of my calves. So we're going to start with the calves. We're going to work through the back side of the body and then move into the front side of the body. So you kind of just figure it out. Again, give yourself some time, and you could even start, I haven't even lifted my glutes off the floor, and you could just start to see, what does that feel like? Do I feel any tender spots at all? And there's some good ones right there. I also point my toes in and out, so there's even more tender spots. So here, not so much with my toes straight up. I just turn my toes out, and there's a really good, and it's on both left and right side. Okay, so that's just feeling out the calves, getting to know you have some trigger points, because when you hit one, you don't want to be like, and dropping down. So just get to know your body. So then from there, you can have your hands forward, out to the side. I like to do mine in the back. I'm strong in this upper body. I'm not loading all my weight into my wrists. I'm lifting my glutes by squeezing them and my core at the same time. So now I'm coming up, I'm floating. My ankles are in line with my knees, in line with my hips. And now I'm just rocking back and forth. And again, don't hesitate to move your hands as you find that sweet spot. Hey, Miss Pixie. Hello. And again, I start straight, and then I point the toes in. Oh, Pixie's showing her a nice stretch for the morning. Pointing them, thank you. Toes out, and then all the way out to get those little stabilizers. So this is more, I'm gonna date myself, pronatus longus and brevis is what I was taught they were called. They have new names now, but they're on the outside. Now, if it's too much to do two, just start with the one. Toe out. That gives you a little bit more room to come all the way into the side as well when we just do the one leg at a time. So again, there's no wrong way to do this at all. Now, a lot of times I suggest when you're foam rolling to do it for about 3 days and then give it a break. And I soak afterwards, especially if I haven't foam rolled in a while. And then I go ahead and do a whole body foam roll, then I will take an Epsom salt bath that night, because it's really going to get things to stir up, which is great, but sometimes that can make us feel a little bit tired or fatigued or sore and tender afterwards. Okay, so that's the one side, and then getting around to the other side. So you'll notice left to right, what side is got more tender spots than the others, okay? All right, so that was our calves, our lower legs, the back side of them. Now I'm gonna go up into our hamstrings, the back side of our thighs. And again, I'm just gonna figure out my gauge of where I want to be. And again, I point my toes out, I point my toes in, and I just kind of like work in the major belly first, and then I start creeping a little bit closer to the insertion point on towards each of the joints, because these hamstrings go all the way up to the glutes. So when I finally get to that point, but in the beginning I just kind of warm it up, like I said, figuring out where are those tweaky points. And again, you can do one leg at a time, especially if you're really trying to focus and go a bit slower and hold on this specific points. And I like to roll all the way out, because we have our IT band and our TFL along here, but your hamstring comes right up to it. So I want to be working right into that. That's where I have my most tender spots. That's where they begin to articulate. And then on the other side. And come on out. Relaxing breathing. If you have to, in between, shake the wrists out, stretch the arms up, shoulder roll, because again, you are getting a reverse plank workout as you do this, which is really great, but we might not all be used to doing that. And if you just did an upper body workout beforehand, then you will also be feeling it as well. Okay. So that was hamstring, back of the thighs. As you saw, I was working my way to get around to the side. And this can be one of the most awkward and tender ones to do, but we're gonna do along that side. So again, go easy on yourself if this is your first time doing this. Okay, so I like to slowly, so you saw me, I started to kind of just mid hamstring come up. I anchor into my right hand, and then I bring my left hand over, and then you're gonna see if you can cross that leg in front. You can stay back here as well, but it gives you a little bit more balance. And then I might even lift my hip, and already I can feel it in here. So I don't let my whole weight fall on the foam roller in the beginning. I'm giving some good push through my upper body, because this is so tender and I want to help it, but I don't want to irritate it at the same time. Okay, so again, a little flexibility needed. If you haven't checked out the hip mobility video that I did, if you're having trouble getting into these positions, you could try that video, and that will help you get into these deeper weird positions. And again, you saw me drop down to my elbow. It's giving my upper body a break. Ooh, trying to talk while I do this. Skimmy, skimmy. And then all the way up and hold. You can stop and hold. I was taught 7 seconds hold. I don't know if I'll be able to talk while I'm holding this one. I'm gonna move out of there. Okay, whew. And 7 seconds hold if you find a spot that's like, ooh, which we call a trigger point. Or if you just want to do some regular foam rolling, you could just put a counter on and do 30 seconds or 4 or 5 big breaths for each one, okay? So we did calves, we did back of the thighs, hamstrings, we worked along the side, and then I'm gonna have, we'll do glutes before we switch. So I only did the one side because I'll have to turn away from you to do the other side, so I'll do that one a bit later. But very gentle on here. Even if you have topical stuff, if you can't get in the tub afterwards, I would put that on this area, okay? All right, so now I'm gonna lift all the way up, and I'm gonna sit on the foam roller now. So now I'm gonna do the glutes. So I'm kind of in a, what is this called, crab crab position if you're to do crab walks. And I shift my weight from left to right and then down the center. So I'm just down the center, so I'm kind of rolling to the top of my sacrum, which is that last vertebrae that is fused together, that shapes as a triangle. So again, if any of this is tender, if you have injuries to any of these areas, just be more gentle. Maybe you won't go down the center and work on that area. Okay, so now I'm going to shift my weight over to the right. And now I'm working just into that right glute max. And again, if I feel any spots that are tender, I'm just going to hold or give a light back and forth massage into, and I'm going to shift my weight to the left and go down. And again, breathing, keeping that core engaged, keeping my neck and shoulders relaxed even though they're working. Don't want my shoulders up and my ears shrugging, and then coming back to center. Okay, and then you can just work slightly to the left as you work along the side of that sacrum, slightly to the right. You know, just play around with it. Like I said, there's no right way or wrong way. Okay, so now I'm going to gauge my mat length and my body length. And again, give yourself time to figure this all out. And I'm going to go up into the upper body. So we're going to slowly roll down. Got my chin slightly tucked. And now, again, if you're wearing a hoodie or have your ponytail down, you got to be careful because you can get that caught in the foam roll on your way back up. I like to support my neck with my hands. Again, I'm not yanking on them, but I'm giving it a little bit support. All right, and I'm coming all the way down just gently onto the back of my neck. And then I'm going to roll a slight curl, coming all the way up, letting my hands go till I get to the low back. Okay, and then again, so just going down that spine. Again, I just kind of come up on my toes, feel that little bit of pressure. I didn't put any heavy weight into my neck in this position. And then coming back up. Okay, I'm going to go slightly to the right now, so I lean over. And then I like to stretch my arm up as I come up into this position. And then on this side, slightly to the left. And be reaching my arm up as I do that. Okay, you might get some movement in your spine as you do that. So free little fun bonuses there. Okay, now we're gonna come back to on our backs and just put our neck on the foam roll. Now again, for some people this position will not be comfortable, so we'll do other things. And I just turn my head to the left and to the right, feeling it come all the way to that bone behind my ear. You might feel some clunking, or depends on how tight your neck is as you go side to side. And keep breathing. And let's do one more. That's tight over there. And again, you can just stop and rock in a place and then come back to center. Okay? Inhale, exhale, come up to a safe seated position. And then as we transition to the front side of the body, I like to do this one. So now this is why I like having the long one. This is one of my favorite. So depending on how tall you are, hopefully it will work. You could just come down back onto that sacrum on that very end. So here's the end of your spine, and then between our glutes is the sacrum bone. And you can just rock side to side. Get that a little bit more loose if you need that. And then begin to slowly lower all the way down. So this requires a little bit of balance. So if that's a concern for you, you could just go by a wall, next to a wall and be holding on to something while you do this. So again, I've got my sacrum fully on the foam roller and my head fully on the foam roller, okay? And then from here, I like to just rock side to side. So I am kind of holding onto my mat a little, coming all the way out as far as I can, then I think I'm not gonna fall, and then over to the other side. And again, you might get some clunky as it goes over different muscles. And then over here. And then I will actually reach my arm up sometimes and down. And then this side as I'm moving and down. Okay. All right. And then a stationary stretch I love to teach and do is just going to be to open up the pecs. So whether you can get your arms fully out, kind of start out at a 90 degree, and you just let gravity do the work. Okay, so you can see my arm gets to come all the way to the floor. It's also going to the floor on the left side, but I do feel a lot more pull on my left side. And if you have followed me and watched some videos, you know that I have a left side shoulder neck injury, so that does not operate the same as my right. So this feels really good. And then I move up just a little bit. And again, let everything kind of settle and relax into it. You're just breathing. And I like to do this one, either at the end again or in the center, so you're giving your upper body a break from all of that reverse plank work, and then we'll be doing some plank positioning soon. Okay, and I just went up a little bit again. And then I'm working to get my hands all the way to the top of my head. Just letting the shoulders relax, the jaw relax. Try not to be biting down on your teeth or holding any tension in your face. And then up overhead, almost there, till my hands can touch. Now this is slightly engaged. I'm not letting myself lift off too much, but I'm not too worried about holding it in the foam roller either. And last one. And then from there, I work my way back down. And that's just always nice because you got a lot more range of motion and relaxation in each of the poses as well. And then come on down. So you can stay as long as you want in any of those increments, going up and on the way down, okay? Usually give myself another little nice side roll, and then slowly peel myself up off there. Okay, so another option you could do, I didn't do, just to roll your feet. Okay, some people do that. I prefer to do that with a lacrosse ball or a tennis ball, or not so much a golf ball, but I will do that as well if I need to in my feet. I don't really feel it too much, but I don't have foot problems. So this might be enough, and maybe the lacrosse ball, tennis ball, or golf ball will be too much. So you could just do that as well. Same with working the front of the shins. I tend to use something manually in my hand than on the foam roller. Okay? All right, so I'm gonna have us flip on over, and again, I'm gonna judge this based on me and this mat, and I'm aiming to do my quads at this point. And then I'm gonna work us up into the hip flexor, which may just take a little maneuvering for each of us. And this one is always surprisingly tender. I always think it's going to be my hamstrings that are tender, but it's these quads that are. Again, I turn my toes in, and then I'll turn my toes out, and then go straight. And I will try to even work from side to side. I'm gonna come up a little. So I am barefoot. I do recommend either barefoot or shoes, not socks, because you do need to be able to grip. And I got onto the hardwood floor and I didn't have grip anymore. So that was making me slide and not going slow enough. Okay, so now I'm coming onto the outer quad. And again, this is always a tender spot. So nice and slow. I'm not putting my full weight on because that would just be too much. And then I'm going to come back to center, and then we're going to get up into the hip flexor. So now I'm near the top. I might even just bend my knee on this side, and I'm going to rock slightly. So this is my left leg. Let slightly to the left, and try to get up high into that hip flexor. And keep breathing. And then come on out and go over to the other side. Again, move your hands. You don't have to just stay on elbows. Bend that knee. And see if I can find it and feel it. Here it is. So it'll be tender. So you might have to play around with turning your hip in and out. And then you'll find a spot. Again, if you're not sure if it's your hip flexor, I can always help you in the office by palpating it for you so that you kind of get a feel, and then you can transfer that over to the foam roller. Okay, so also in this position, coming to the quad, actually, I'm gonna go into this position. Okay, so that was quad, hip flexor. Again, you're working the whole span, so toes in and out, and then into the inner thigh as the last one, and just kind of feeling that, shifting with it. It's a little awkward to get all the way up to the top, but you can if you go nice and slow, and then lift and shift. Now, if you want, you could do the outer thigh and the inner thigh at the same time. It's a little bit more challenging and slow, but you can do it. So I'm just letting this one, I'm not trying to put any weight in it, it's just guiding along it. All my focus is in this back one and getting that weight into that inner thigh and turned. Okay, and then switch into the other side. This one's just hanging out, and I'm really getting into that inner one. It does prevent a little bit more rotation to get really high up in there. So that's when I do this one and just try to keep this one, or this foot, as close as possible. So it all depends what's going on in your body. There we go. But it can be, like I said, some of these moves are very awkward. You wish you could just take off this leg for a moment while you work the other one, and then vice versa. So those were some basic foam rolling ideas. Again, this is the tall one. You can do a lot of these except for the laying down stretch one with the smaller version. And then just be careful with the ones that have knobs on it. That just intensifies everything. So I have to hold my body up from those even more, but some people need them and it's highly beneficial for them. Okay, so we went over foam rolling 101. We did our calves, we did our hamstrings, we did our glutes, we did our whole upper back. low back, middle back, upper back. Then we laid down and we did our neck. Okay, then we flipped over. Went lengthwise. We did our side to side spine massage, and then our chest opening and lowering down. Love that one. Just letting gravity do the work, giving yourself a break before flipping over. Again, doing quads, full spectrum of quads. Don't just roll on the top part, that will hit the foam roller. And again, it's nothing stopping you from doing your forearms on here. I know some people also do their lats on here. Yeah, it's possible. I never have needed to, and it's a little bit awkward, but it's an option. You can get all the way up into there. You can do your shoulders on the side. It's not something I commonly do, but you can. You just want to be very gentle, and I would probably be pushing into the ground. And see how you have to be flexible in the hips and everything. So those I tend to just stretch or use the lacrosse ball or the percussor. I have a percussor as well, a massager, and I will use those for those parts of the body. But it can be covered for, it can be used, for all parts of the body. But try those ones first. Be careful, like I said, start out lighter in the beginning. Just figure out the positions, if you can get down into them, what that feels like. Can you breathe as you're doing it? But giving it a little bit more every single time, because I know it was really hard for me, and just finding the positions and the weirdness of it. But the benefits are there. And then yes, take a soak in an Epsom salt bath if that's doable for you afterwards. Make sure you drink a good amount of water as well. And I really hope one or all of these will be highly beneficial for you. So thank you for watching, and have an awesome day.